I stood frozen, my heart racing as Nolan's voice sliced through the air. "Clara and we've been together." The words felt like a punch to my gut, leaving me breathless. How could he say her name so easily? It fell from his lips like poison, twisting inside me, making everything I thought I knew feel like a lie. The room felt too small, the walls closing in around me. I replayed every moment we had shared, the laughter, the plans, the promises. Each memory now felt tainted. How could someone I trusted so deeply betray me like this? I clenched my fists, fighting against the suffocating weight of heartbreak. "How long?" I managed to ask, my voice barely above a whisper. He hesitated, a flicker of guilt flashing across his face. "A few months." A few months? My mind raced. While I had been dreaming of our future, he had been building a secret life with Clara, my best friend. "You knew?" I was shocked, my emotions twisting into a knot of rage and despair. Not at first, but then it just happened. He shrugged, and I could feel the anger igniting inside me. "You have to understand, Understand what?" I interrupted, my voice rising. "That you threw away everything we built? That you chose her over me?" His silence spoke volumes. The betrayal burned within me, fueling a desire for revenge. I felt like a stranger in my own life, a puppet cut loose from its strings. How could I have been so blind? The anger transformed into a fire that consumed my thoughts. I wanted them to feel my pain. I wanted them to suffer like I was suffering. But deep down, a battle raged. Should I confront them? Lay it all out on the table? Or should I plot, devise a plan that would make them regret their choices? I paced the floor, my mind racing. I could call Clara, demand answers. Or I could wait, gather strength and resources for a retaliation that would leave them shaken. "Why did you do it?" I whispered, mostly to myself, but Nolan heard me. "It was complicated. I didn't mean to hurt you," he said, his voice barely above a murmur. "Complicated?" I laughed bitterly, the sound echoing painfully in the silence. "No, it's not complicated. You made a choice to betray me." He reached out, but I stepped back, my heart pounding in my chest. "Don't touch me." The anger swirled inside me, mixing with the heartbreak, and I felt like I was standing on the edge of a cliff, teetering dangerously. I took a deep breath, trying to steady myself. I needed to make a decision. Confrontation or revenge? "Clara is my best friend." "How could you?" I asked, my voice trembling. "I never wanted it to be like this," he said, desperation creeping into his tone. "Then how do you expect me to feel?" I shot back, my mind racing with memories of our friendship, of Clara laughing beside me, of secrets shared under the stars. It all felt like a cruel joke now. I paced the room, my mind whirling. I could see their faces, see the betrayal etched in every smile I had once trusted. How could I confront them without breaking apart? I wanted to scream, to cry, to let them know just how deeply they had hurt me. But I also wanted to be smart about it. "Just go," I finally said, my voice cold and steady. "Just leave." And as he walked away, the door clicking shut behind him, I felt the walls of my world crumble. I was left alone in the silence, my heart heavy with grief and anger. The decisions lay before me, and I had to choose wisely. Would I confront them and risk everything? Or would I let the fire of my pain fuel a plan for revenge? In that moment of solitude, I knew one thing for sure. This was only the beginning. As I sat alone in my dimly lit room, the memories of happier times flooded back. Nolan and I had shared countless dreams, painting a future that felt so bright. I could almost hear his voice, full of hope, saying, "We can conquer the world together." Those words had once wrapped around my heart like a warm hug, but now they felt like a cruel joke. I closed my eyes to picture us laughing under the stars, his arm around my shoulders, whispering sweet nothings. We were so blissfully unaware of the storm brewing beneath the surface of our relationship. I thought of the countless nights we spent planning our future, the adventures we talked about, and the love that felt unbreakable. But those moments now felt like shards of glass, each one cutting deeper as I remembered the betrayal. The stark contrast of those joyful memories with the harsh reality of his betrayal struck me like a slap in the face. I began to see the cracks that had formed long before I discovered Clara's deceit. I had ignored the warning signs, the little moments where Nolan seemed distant or distracted. How could I have been so blind? A wave of confusion washed over me as I tried to put the pieces together. Then I thought about Clara. She had always been more than just a friend. She was a sister to me. We shared secrets, dreams, and laughter, and her betrayal cut deeper than Nolan's. The realization hit me hard. The pain I felt wasn't just about losing Nolan. It was about losing someone I trusted completely. "How could you do this to me?" I whispered into the silence, hoping for an answer that would never come. I knew I had to confront Clara. I needed answers, but more than that, I needed to reclaim the sense of self and power that felt like it was slipping away. I picked up my phone and stared at Clara's name on my contacts list. My finger hovered over the call button, trembling with uncertainty. "Just do it," I muttered to myself. "You deserve to know the truth." Taking a deep breath, I pressed the button and waited. The phone rang, each tone echoing my racing heart. When she finally answered, her voice was light, almost cheerful. "Hey! I was just thinking about you." I felt my stomach twist. "Clara, we need to talk. Now!" The mood shifted instantly. "Is everything okay?" she asked, her tone becoming serious. "No, everything is not okay," I said, my voice firm. "I know about you and Nolan." There was a pause on the other end, a silence thick with tension. I didn't mean for you to find out this way." "Then how did you mean for me to find out?" I snapped, anger simmering just beneath the surface. "Did you think I would never know? That I would just sit here while you both betrayed me?" "I'm so sorry," she said, her voice breaking. "It just happened. I never wanted to hurt you." "Then why did you?" I felt a lump in my throat as I fought back tears. "You were supposed to be my best friend." "I know," she replied, her voice filled with regret. "But things got complicated. I didn't want to lose you too." "Lose me?" I laughed bitterly. "You've already lost me." The conversation spiraled into a chaotic mix of emotions. I could hear the regret in her voice, but it felt hollow. The damage was done, and I was left feeling raw and exposed. I hung up, the air heavy with unspoken words. In that moment, I realized something important. This wasn't just about confronting Clara or getting revenge on her and Nolan. It was about rediscovering who I was. I needed to take my life back, to find my strength buried beneath the pain. I refused to let their betrayal define me. As I sat in silence, I felt a flicker of determination ignite within me. I would not be a victim of their choices. I would rise above this. I would reclaim my power. And for the first time since the betrayal, I felt a glimmer of hope for what was to come. As I walked into the coffee shop, the familiar scent of roasted beans filled the air. But today, it felt different. Today, I was here to confront Clara. My heart raced, each beat echoing the anger and hurt I had been holding inside. I spotted her sitting at our usual table, her fingers nervously tracing the rim of her cup. "Clara," I said, my voice steady despite the storm swirling inside me. "We need to talk." She looked up, her eyes wide with surprise. "I didn't think you'd actually come." I took a deep breath and sat down across from her. "You know why I'm here." I need answers." Clara's shoulders slumped as if the weight of her guilt pressed down on her. "I never wanted to hurt you, really. I thought..." "What? That it wouldn't matter? That I wouldn't find out?" My voice rose, drawing the attention of a few nearby tables. "You were my sister, Clara. We shared everything." "I know," she whispered, tears brimming in her eyes. "But it just happened. I didn't plan for it." "Didn't plan for what? To betray me?" I leaned closer, my hands gripping the table's edge. "You and Nolan, the two people I trusted the most. How could you?" "I was confused," she said, her voice shaking. "I didn't mean for it to go that far. Nolan was there, and I was lonely. It was a mistake." "A mistake?" I scoffed. "You think sleeping with him was just a mistake? That's not how it works, Clara." The anger bubbling inside me felt like lava, ready to erupt. I wanted to lash out, to make her feel the pain I felt. But then a wave of clarity washed over me. I realized that my anger wouldn't heal the hurt. "Why did you even want him?" I asked, my tone softer now, almost broken. "What did he offer you that I didn't?" Clara looked down at her cup, her voice barely above a whisper. "I thought he was different. I thought he cared about me." "He doesn't care about anyone but himself," I exclaimed, my frustration spilling over. "He used us both." "I know," Clara said, her eyes finally meeting mine, filled with regret. "And I'm sorry. I wish I could take it back, but I can't. I know my words don't mean much now." "Your apology feels empty, Clara. The damage is done." The hurt in my chest felt heavy, like a stone. "You were supposed to be my friend. You were supposed to have my back. I know. I let you down. I'm so sorry," she said, tears streaming down her cheeks. "Can you ever forgive me?" I took a moment to collect my thoughts. Forgiveness felt like a mountain I wasn't ready to climb. I don't know if I can. I need time to figure out what all of this means. "Just give me a chance to explain," Clara pleaded. "I want to make this right." I sighed, the weight of the moment crashing down on me. "You say that, but how do I know you won't hurt me again? How do I know you won't go back to him?" She shook her head, her voice firm. "I don't want him. I want to fix our friendship. I miss you." "Miss me?" I echoed, disbelief washing over me. "You broke my heart, Clara. You shattered everything we had." "I know," she cried, her hands trembling. "But I want to change. I want to show you that I can be better. Just give me that chance." As I looked into her eyes, I felt something shift inside me. The anger was still there, but alongside it was a flicker of understanding. "It's not just about you, Clara. I need to rediscover who I am in all of this. I can't let revenge consume me." "Then let's work on it together," Clara suggested, her voice low but hopeful. "Let's rebuild what we've lost." I sat back, contemplating her words. Could I really do this? Could I find a way to forgive her and reclaim my sense of self? I didn't know yet, but I realized that my journey to empowerment needed to start here, with me. "Let's take it one step at a time," I finally said, my voice steady. "I can't promise anything, but I'm willing to try." As we sat there, the weight of our conversation hung in the air, but for the first time I felt a glimmer of hope. It wouldn't be easy, but maybe, just maybe, this was the beginning of something new. The days after my confrontation with Clara were heavy. I felt lost, but I knew I had to rise from the ashes of betrayal. I sat on my bed, staring at the wall, trying to think of a plan. I wanted to focus on my personal growth instead of plotting revenge against Nolan and Clara. I took a deep breath and whispered to myself, "This is your chance to start over." I picked up my phone and texted my friend Mia. She had been my rock through all of this. "Can we meet up?" "I need some girl time," I typed, my fingers trembling slightly. Moments later, my phone buzzed. Of course! Let's go to that cafe we love, Mia replied. I smiled, feeling a flicker of excitement. When we met at the cafe, the smell of fresh coffee filled the air. Mia looked at me with concern. "How are you holding up?" she asked, her eyes searching mine for answers. "I'm trying to move on, but it's hard," I admitted, stirring my coffee absent-mindedly. I thought I knew them both so well. I just don't understand how they could do this to me. Mia reached across the table and squeezed my hand. "You are stronger than you think. You've got this. Let's focus on what you love. Remember your painting?" I nodded. Painting had always been my escape. I hadn't touched my brushes in weeks, but Mia's words sparked a memory. I used to love it. I forgot how much joy it brought me. "Then let's make a plan. You can start painting again," Mia suggested. "Channel all your feelings into that. It'll help you heal." That was it. I decided to channel my pain into something constructive. I wanted to paint, to express what I felt inside. "You're right. I need to rediscover myself," I said, feeling a sense of determination growing within me. As the days turned into weeks, I started painting again. I set up my easel in the corner of my room, surrounded by tubes of colorful paint and brushes of all sizes. Each stroke of my brush felt like a release. I painted my emotions, anger, sadness, and eventually, hope. The canvas became a reflection of my journey. One evening, while I was lost in my art, I heard a knock on my door. It was Mia again. "I brought snacks," she announced cheerfully, walking in without waiting for an invitation. "Thanks. I could use a break," I replied, wiping my hands on a rag and looking at the half-finished painting in front of me. "What do you think?" Mia stepped closer, studying the canvas. "It's beautiful. You've captured so much emotion. I can see you're pouring your heart into it." "I feel like I'm finally starting to find myself again," I said with a smile. "I'm more than just Nolan's girlfriend or Clara's friend. I'm me. That's the spirit. You're fierce. And don't let anyone tell you otherwise," Mia encouraged, her eyes sparkling with pride. With each passing day, I felt a newfound confidence emerging. I was learning to embrace my independence. I signed up for an art class at the community center, eager to meet new people and share my passion. I wanted to surround myself with positivity and creativity. One day, while I was at the art class, I met a group of friendly faces. They welcomed me warmly, and I felt a sense of belonging. "What inspires you to paint?" One of the students, a girl named Sarah, asked me during a break. I smiled, thinking back on everything. "Life, I guess. The good and the bad. I'm learning to express it all," I replied. "That's amazing! Art has a way of healing, doesn't it?" she said, and I nodded, feeling a sense of unity with my new friends. As I embarked on this journey of self-discovery, I realized that I was not defined by my past or the people who hurt me. I was carving out my own path, filled with passion and ambition. The pain of betrayal began to fade, replaced by hope and the excitement of the future. I was ready to embrace it all, the ups and downs, the joys and sorrows. I was ready to rise, stronger and more beautiful than before. Rebuilding my life felt like piecing together a shattered glass sculpture. Each small victory sparked a flicker of hope inside me. I often found myself smiling at the little things. A sunny day, a compliment from a stranger, or even a simple cup of coffee became symbols of my progress. It was as if each moment reminded me that I was reclaiming my narrative, one step at a time. One afternoon, I sat in my favorite cafe, sipping on a caramel latte, when I noticed a group of people laughing at a nearby table. Their joy was infectious, and I felt a strange pull to join in, even if just to listen. I caught snippets of their conversation, filled with vibrant energy and light-hearted banter. It felt refreshing to be around such happiness, and before I realized it, I was smiling again. As I glanced up, our eyes met. The guy at the table with messy dark hair and an easy smile flashed me a grin. "Hey, I think you dropped this," he said, pointing to my scarf that had slipped from my lap. I laughed, a sound that felt foreign but welcome. "Thanks. I guess it has a mind of its own," I replied, tying it around my neck. "Mind of its own, huh? You must have a pretty interesting life," he said, leaning back in his chair. I felt a flutter in my stomach. "It's been eventful," I replied cautiously. "But I'm getting there." "Getting there is good," he said, his gaze steady. "I'm Jake, by the way." "Nice to meet you, Jake. I'm Mia." My heart raced at the thought of a new friendship, or perhaps something more, but I reminded myself to take it slow. I was still healing. As days passed, Jake and I met more often at the cafe. He brought a lightness to my world that I had almost forgotten. We shared stories, laughter, and our hopes for the future. He was different from Nolan, and that was exactly what I needed. One evening, as the sun set and painted the sky in shades of pink and orange, he turned to me, his expression serious. "Mia, you're an incredible person. I can see it in how you talk about your passions," he said softly. I felt a warmth spread through me. "Thank you, Jake. I'm still trying to find my way back to the person I used to be before everything happened." "You're already on that path," he replied, his eyes sparkling. "Just keep moving forward." His encouragement felt like a balm to my wounded heart. I had spent so long feeling defined by Nolan and Clara's betrayal, but here was someone who saw me for who I truly was. I was beginning to feel something I thought I had lost: hope. But with every new friendship or budding romance, a gnawing tension lingered in the back of my mind. The upcoming gathering at a mutual friend's place weighed heavily on me. Nolan and Clara would be there, and I had to face them again. The thought of seeing them made my stomach churn. Yet, I knew I couldn't hide forever. On the night of the gathering, I chose a simple yet elegant dress that made me feel confident. As I looked in the mirror, I whispered to myself, "You are strong, Mia. You are not defined by them." With a deep breath, I headed out. When I arrived, the atmosphere was buzzing with laughter and chatter. I spotted Jake immediately, and he waved me over with a bright smile. "You look amazing!" he exclaimed, making my heart flutter. "Thanks. You don't look too bad yourself," I teased back, feeling the tension ease a bit. But as I scanned the room, my gaze landed on Nolan and Clara. They were laughing together, a sight that hit me like a punch in the gut. I felt a wave of emotions rising within me: anger, sadness, and a strange sense of peace. I wasn't there to confront them. I was there to be me. As the night progressed, I managed to engage in conversations with other friends, but I could feel their eyes on me. Finally, I took a moment to step outside for some fresh air. The night sky was clear, and I closed my eyes, letting the cool breeze wash over me. "Mia?" A familiar voice broke my thoughts. I opened my eyes to find Clara standing a few feet away, her expression unreadable. "Clara," I replied, my heart racing. "What do you want?" I wanted to say I'm sorry," she began, her voice shaky. "I never meant to hurt you." I took a deep breath, feeling the weight of the words. "You did hurt me, Clara, but I'm not here to dwell on that anymore. I'm focused on my life now." Her eyes widened, and I could see the regret etched on her face. "I understand. I just hope one day you can forgive me." "Maybe," I said honestly, "but that's a journey I need to take on my own." As she walked away, I felt a strange sense of closure. I was standing strong, no longer defined by their betrayal. I had begun to rebuild my life, and for the first time in a long while, I felt free. As I sat on my balcony, the sun setting in a blaze of orange and pink, I took a deep breath and reflected on everything that had happened. This moment felt like the end of a long, painful chapter. I closed my eyes, allowing the warmth of the evening air to wrap around me like a comforting embrace. I had come so far since the day I discovered Nolan's betrayal, and now it was time to look back and recognize the lessons I had learned. "Hey, you okay?" my friend Mia asked as she joined me on the balcony, her voice soft but steady. I turned to her, a small smile spreading across my face. "Yeah, I'm good. Just thinking about everything," I replied, my gaze drifting back to the horizon. "I never thought I would get to this point. It feels strange, almost surreal." Mia nodded, her eyes filled with understanding. "It's been a tough journey, but look at you now. You're stronger than you know." Her words echoed in my mind as I recalled the pain of betrayal and the anger that had consumed me. I had spent so much time wanting revenge, wanting to hurt Nolan and Clara for what they had done. But now I realized that my true strength lay not in seeking revenge, but in my ability to forgive. Forgiveness was not for them. It was for me. It was about letting go of the heavy burden I had carried for too long. "I used to think that forgiving them would mean I was weak," I admitted, my voice trembling slightly. "But now I see it differently. Forgiving them means I can finally move forward without the weight of anger holding me back." Mia smiled, her eyes sparkling with pride. "That's a huge realization. It takes courage to let go, especially when you've been hurt. You deserve to be free from all that pain." As I sat there, I felt a wave of relief wash over me. I had spent months in turmoil, torn between the urge to confront my past and the desire to embrace my future. But now, I was ready to celebrate my newfound freedom and self-love. My identity had evolved. I was no longer just Nolan's girlfriend or Clara's friend. I was me, and I was proud of who I had become. "I've learned to love myself again," I said, my voice steady and strong. "I have dreams I want to chase, passions I want to explore. I want to be happy, not just for myself, but for everyone around me." Mia reached out and squeezed my hand. "And you will be. You have so much potential. Just look at how far you've come. This is just the beginning." With her support, I felt empowered. I thought about the new friendships I had formed, the laughter we shared, and the joy that filled my days. I had stepped into a world of possibilities, and it felt exhilarating. I remembered the stranger I had met, the one who had sparked a flicker of romance in my heart. I was excited to explore where that might lead, but more importantly, I was excited to see where my own journey would take me. "Do you think I'll ever really forgive them, though?" I asked, my voice tinged with uncertainty. "I mean, I want to, but part of me still feels so hurt." Mia took a moment before responding. "Forgiveness doesn't mean you forget what they did. It means you choose not to let it control your life anymore. It's okay to feel hurt. Just don't let it define you." Her words resonated deeply within me. I understood that forgiveness was a process, one that I would continue to navigate in my own way. But I felt ready. I was ready to embrace my identity, my future, and the love I had for myself. As the last rays of sunlight disappeared beyond the horizon, I knew I had the power to shape my own story. The betrayal had hurt, but it had also led me to discover a love that was deeper than any I had known. The love for myself. And with that love, I could face whatever came next with an open heart and a fierce spirit. "Here's to new beginnings," I said, raising my glass of lemonade toward Mia. "To new beginnings," she echoed, her smile bright as we clinked our glasses together. The future was mine, and I was ready to embrace it wholeheartedly. Share this story if you believe that self-love can triumph over life's toughest challenges. Leave a comment about how forgiveness has transformed your journey, and subscribe for more inspiring stories like this one.